Peace and riches blessings. I am Michael B. Beckwith, the host of Take Back Your Mind. Radical blessings, and welcome to the Life Question of the Week podcast of Take Back Your Mind. Every week I have the opportunity to read a particular question and seek to answer it, and hopefully it goes beyond the person that's writing it, but anyone who is listening can benefit from it. This question comes from Sherry. Sherry is from Tennessee. She says this: recently, I started listening to your podcast. I am 51 and I prefer women over men. A few years ago, I finally came out of the dark, cold closet to my friends and family. My mother said homosexuality is wrong and that God does not condone my actions. I don't see myself as an evil person, nor do I see my homosexuality, which is something I cannot control, as a reason for eternal damnation. However, I still feel conflicted over the idea of how God or a higher power can love me when supposedly my lifestyle goes against him. What insights can you offer me? Sherry, thank you for your bold confidence and courage in asking this particular question. There's a couple of things we need to dissect here. First of all, when you talk about God, a conflict, how can a higher power love you when your lifestyle goes against him? First of all, there is no God like that. There is no him God. God is the first beyond gender being. In other words, God is life, God is love, God is beauty, God is joy, God is life itself. God is pure love. God is not a man. God is not a woman. God is pure spirit of love and beauty and intelligence. So the question that is asked, when you pass over to the other side, you're not going to judge yourself for who you loved. You're going to judge yourself, did you love? Did you love? We're here on this planet to perfect our loving. Some people perfect their loving in a heterosexual way. Some people perfect their loving in a same-sex loving way. And it's not condoned in the Western world to that degree. In other indigenous cultures, it's just a part of the culture. Native American culture and some of the African cultures, not the ones who've been colonized into the Western thought. But same-sex loving people were revered as individuals. Sometimes they were called the gatekeepers because they had a certain openness that allowed for great gifts to come through. So there's no man God being mad at you. That's something that's made up by human beings. So feeling conflicted over the idea of how God or higher power can love you, God is love. And God doesn't have withhold. There's no withholding in God. God is love. The conflict is, are you willing to love yourself? You said you can't control this. It's not something you're choosing. It's not a lifestyle. You don't just choose it. I mean, I'm sure there are people who are curious and end up experimenting and things like that. But I'm talking about if you're saying that you are a homosexual, you are a lesbian, you didn't choose that. That was your makeup. That's your nature in this human incarnation. So the conflict is not about God loving you. The conflict is, do you love you? Have you taken on the puritanical societal point of view and are causing yourself shame and guilt? That's not on God. You want to let the shame and the guilt go. You want to, before you can love someone else, you want to fall deeply in love with yourself, not from an egotistical point of view, but the fact that your life is the life of God. It's precious, it's wonderful, it's beautiful, it's one of a kind, it's unique. You want to grow in the capacity of self-love and appreciation. And as that happens, the guilt and the shame will dissolve. And you will see there's no external God pointing God's finger at you saying, you shouldn't have loved that girl. No. Your mother, bless her. Bless her. She's doing the best she can. She's within a point of view that still there are many people on the planet, particularly in the Western world, are in. I mean, there are all manner of hate groups that still exist around gay people, black people, Mexicans, Jewish people. You know, there are hate groups that like to hate things that are not like them because they don't understand. But God isn't in that group. Or put it this way, they have not allowed the God presence to take over their mind. Their mind has been hijacked by a limited perception. So Sherry, fall in love with yourself. Forgive and bless your mom. And let your soul be guided to the right being that you can share your love with. At the end of the day, if there is a God like that, God's not going to say, you're going to hell because I don't like your diet. You're going to hell because you love the same people of your own sex. No. No. I can tell you that for sure. So do not be conflicted about the presence of God. Fall in love with yourself and perfect your loving. Be here to love. Have a beautiful and bright day, Sherry, and all the beings that are listening in that affects them. Have a beautiful day. Thank you. Hey, thank you for joining me today. If you'd like to ask a question, please email me at podcast@michaelbeckwith.com. And you know what? Your question just might be featured. Have a beautiful and bright day.